And welcome to Ernie Live. We are at the cast party for The King and I, which is here in Houston. We're in Artista. We've got two of the stars of the show with us. We're going to talk to them in just a second, but we want to thank Broadway at the Hobby Center for bringing what is truly an amazing show to Houston. And so, first of all, Walt is here with me today, and Walt's going to put their name tags on, so we've got our guests right. First of all, we have Mona Nichols. There you go. Oh, you're not going to... Wow. Just put your... There we go. Everybody has to have a name tag at our party. And Kevin, here comes yours.
Thank you very much. Awesome.
There you go.
There we go.
Got it.
I did.
Now you're officially guests at my party.
Sweet.
I just realized we don't have our name tags yet. We'll do them next time. But anyway, thank you guys for joining us. The party's going on right now, and we pulled you away to just chat a little bit with us. First of all, this King and I that I just saw, I was telling Kevin right before we started, probably it's one of the best of two productions I've ever seen here in Houston, the other being Fiddler on the Roof, and this one.
Wow.
Two amazing productions. This one actually is here, so people can have a chance to see it. Tell me a little bit about getting involved with this wonderful project.
Sure.
Bring it right up to your mouth.
Right
Kevin.
up
There
to
you
my
go.
mouth. All right. I just had my agent just submitted me for the show. And I was actually in grad school right before it, and went in for an audition. Had a series of callbacks. It was kind of fairly standard, and then in June found out I got the show, which was really exciting. And I got to do my final callback with her, which was really, really awesome and amazing.
Amanda, how did it work for you?
My story was pretty much the same. My agent submitted me, and I had a work session with Bart maybe like a month before.
The director of the show?
Yes, Bart Lashir. He's amazing. He's amazing. Yes, he's our director. I had a work session with him about a month, and then a month before I left town, and then I ended up leaving town. I was actually in Minneapolis, where we just came from, working at the Guthrie, doing their shows. So I actually flew back on the day off for the final callback for this, and then we got the job. It's been awesome. We feel so lucky.
One of the joys of doing Facebook Live is that you out there watching us right now, feel free to submit questions.
Yeah.
Just type them in the question box right there, and Walt will let us know what comes in and what we've got and what you folks are asking. Now, if people are looking and saying, they look awfully young to be Anna and the King, no, you're the young lovers in this show.
We are the young lovers in the show. Yes. Although maybe one day we'll get to play Anna and the King. Why not?
You never know. If you stick with the tour long enough, you could rotate
true.
in.
We could.
Okay, for people who don't know the story, you are given as a gift to the King. You bring her to the King.
Yes, I do.
And from Burma.
Yes.
And there's some history between it for the two of you.
Yeah, I think I knew her before the events of the play, and we fell in love on that journey down into Siam, and then we just try to make it work.
You try to make it work. There is the biggest understatement of the year, The King and I.
We try. It doesn't always end up so great, but
okay. You say that your love affair, the relationship between the two of you, really starts off stage before the show begins. So when you're introduced, there's already something going on there.
Yes.
Is there any note for you as actors as to what that is, or do you just create it and imagine the story as you see it?
Well, I mean, I definitely... I try to remember my circumstances every show. Just try to remember, okay, I already have this history with her. And then the events of the play actually move over the course of a little over a year. So there's time to I have to constantly remind myself, okay, this next scene is actually a year later, and there's even more time that this love story germinates. Yeah. How about you,
Nana?
I mean, I just kind of, I guess, start with the mindset of, here she is, she's been dropped off, present to the King, secretly in love with another man. I believe she's pretty highborn from her country. She's a princess. They refer to her as Princess Tuptim.
Right.
She's educated. She speaks English, and she speaks it better than all of the King's people. So she's highly educated. She's very intelligent. She is outspoken with the King. So I kind of think of those as her given circumstances when she comes in. But she's fallen in love with this man, and she's now in a smaller fish in a bigger sea in Siam, because Burma is a lower status country compared to Siam. So,
but all that you're talking about, is it what you're finding from just mining the script and looking at subtleties
Yeah.
and how they write it and how people react and all of that?
Yeah, and we had like a whole week of table work before we started. So we actually, principals started a week earlier. We started rehearsal to have table work and discuss things through with Bart and just kind of talk about timelines, talk about status, talk about all the circumstances. It's like all the fun, juicy stuff that we do that the audience really never gets to see. The audience kind of sees the result of everything. So hopefully you understand some of that when you're watching our show.
Okay, so tell me, why do you think I had such an amazing reaction to this show? As I told Kaven, I've seen King and I before, and I thought, oh, it's King and I.
Well, have you seen our kids?
Yeah, oh my God.
Okay.
That's a good-sized cast, too,
Have
to
you seen
tour
our
with.
kids?
Yeah, you've got lots of little kids. They're adorable.
Yeah.
But why do you think the story works so well in this production?
I really think that Bart did an excellent job of...
Bart, the director again.
Bart, our director, our phenomenal director. I think the writing is actually very ahead of its time. Even though these are written by, Rodgers and Hammerstein years ago, a lot of these issues and a lot of the script, we still are facing these today in our own society, in our own country, and with other countries. And the idea of strong women, educated women, standing up for your rights, standing up for love or whatever it is that you believe in, against the norm, and the idea of accepting other cultures by getting to know you, by getting to know your neighbors, getting to know your friends. I think
Kevin, you were
resonates
telling me
today.
that in preparing for this particular production, they went back through a lot of the old notes and the pieces that didn't make it into the show.
Yeah, they did. They Bart, when he mounted the production at Lincoln Center,
I just so have to do this again. Bart, the director.
Bartlett
I just
Sher,
wanna-
our director. I should always just refer to him as Bartlett Sher.
Yeah.
He went back to all the past drafts of the libretto that were at the Rodgers and Hammerstein organization, and he put it all back in. Apparently, that first preview at Lincoln Center was 4 hours long. Yeah, because they put the whole text back in, and they were like, okay, we might need to cut a little bit there, but they really, he really wanted to make sure that you understood the political stakes for this king, the idea that this king was had his country being encroached on all sides by European powers that wanted to colonize these areas, and that kind of this king is trying to maintain between a very modern, progressive, and indeed Western mindset and his more traditional Eastern values. That's a really fascinating tension to kind of play, and I think that's why it's so relevant today, because that's the kind of world that we're living in, where people are trying to negotiate those kind of tensions. Yeah,
It is interesting to me, though, how relevant this story is, considering where we're at today. There's a couple lines in the show that I'm sure the audience thinks you added them in to make them something about building a wall.
We
to
did not
keep
add
people
them
out.
in.
definitely didn't have those in.
It's all Rodgers and Hammerstein.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is kind of amazing. Okay, so we know you guys have this backstory before you come on. We find out what happens to your character at one point.
Yeah.
Have you thought about how you met that? I don't want to give too much away to an audience. I'm wondering, have you?
How I
Whatever happens.
whatever
to you at
happens.
the very end.
I do know what happens to me. I've worked through that. I don't want to give it away if you haven't seen The King and I. But something very definitive happens to me, and it's.
But do you know what happened? Have you thought about?
Oh yeah. I've talked to Bart about it too. Yeah,
I want
absolutely.
to find out more.
The director. Sorry.
Okay, we do have a
director.
question, Cayman. They want to know if either of you have visited Houston before.
I haven't visited Houston. Have you?
I've not visited Houston, but I'm originally from Oklahoma City, and so I've been to
So you're not
Texas.
so far away from us.
Yes, I've been to Texas, just not Houston. It's my first time. My best friend's from here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she had her bridal portraits taken. I walked past today. I was like, "That's where Haley had her dress. That's where she had her bridal portraits." I
So,
wanted to come.
does she still live here?
She lives in Riverside, California now. She saw the show in LA at opening night in LA.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess since the show just opened today and you're not from here, neither of you, I can't really ask you too much about what you think of Houston so far.
I mean, I walked around all day today. It was lovely.
I drove in today from Oklahoma City at 6 in the morning.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. We drove. One of my other castmates and I drove my grandma and her friend in. We left Oklahoma City at 6 this morning. We left at 5:30 from where we were. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well,
So
I want
Houston's
to.
been sunny and warm, and we're just happy to be here.
Well, we're happy you're here. There's a whole party going on out there.
Yes, there is.
And we've snagged you and stuck you in our little booth. So we don't want to keep you any longer. We want you to go, enjoy your party, have fun. Thank you for an amazing performance tonight. You guys are here all week and through Sunday.
through Sunday.
We're here at the Hobby Center, and it is The King and I, and it's thanks to Broadway at the Hobby Center. Thanks for tuning in to do this with us tonight. And you know what? We'll be back again. We're going to be here at opening nights of other shows. I think Dreamgirls will be the next one you'll see us sitting in the back booth for. So join us for that. For all of us here, thank you guys for doing this.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.